Welcome fellow writers, I'm Chloe and today we'll be going over Mary and Gary Sues. Just to let you know, I'll be using the term Mary Sue throughout this video for simplicity, but keep in mind the same rules apply for Gary Sues. Now for those of you who are unsure what a Mary Sue is, they're basically a character that's perfect, unrealistically attractive, and in some cases the better version of the offer. There's plenty of good videos on YouTube you can watch about Mary Sues, but in this video I'll be focusing more on the problems young writers have with Mary Sues. People often tell you that if the main character is female and in their teens, they're a Mary Sue. This, however, is something that's not necessarily true, especially for young writers, as most only have experience being a young adult and may not know how to write a male or older character effectively. If you write a female teenage character, they're not necessarily a Mary Sue unless they have the other Mary Sue traits. Something I notice with young writers who write Mary Sue characters is they tend to base them off a character they've seen in a book or movie and make very little changes. Such characters might be Harry Potter, Bella Swan, Luke Skywalker, etc. If you see your character has a strong resemblance to any of these characters, they're probably a Mary or Gary Sue. Next we have the Chosen One cliché. Even though you might have seen it in Harry Potter, the Chosen One cliché is becoming more overused and it's usually not done properly. The Chosen One usually doesn't have to work very hard to fulfill their goal, and fulfill the prophecy all by themselves with little to no help from others. If it's vital to your story to have a Chosen One, try to twist the cliché by making the Chosen One have to work hard for their end goal, or maybe have to work with others to achieve their goal. Another two things that can make a Mary Sue is looks and backstory. A Mary Sue's looks usually pertain of unusual but beautiful features like purple eyes and golden hair. However, especially if the story takes place in the real world, these types of people don't exist. Your character can be attractive, but try going for subtle attractiveness and don't make the character's looks their entire personality. As far as backstories, while people will tell you to stay away from tragic, heartbreaking stories at all costs, I'm gonna say if your character has a tragic backstory, go with it, to an extent. Something to remember is that having a tragic backstory just to have characters feel bad for your character is not a good excuse for one. Another thing to remember is that if your character has a tragic backstory, it's going to affect their attitude and relationships with other characters throughout the story. The last problem I'll talk about with Mary Sues is lack of genuine personality. Young writers usually tend to fall into this trap where their character has more good personality traits than bad ones, and their bad ones mean little or nothing to the plot. For example, if your character is kind, cool, and smart, and their only bad trait is being stubborn, you're doing it wrong. Try to have an even number of good and bad traits, and create a list of bad traits that actually affect the character and the plot. Traits you'll have to combat as the story goes on. Well, that was all for today. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all next time.